looks almost too easy. Now I'll have to see what it's like in the chat, what people sign over. But for the moment, it looks pretty good. Okay, so this is good. So hopefully people will show up. I believe I'm on the right channel. But in the meantime, it does look like our neighbors are getting their Wi-Fi back. Xfinity, what's ours called? Okay, so funny. I want them to like do it alphabetical. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. All right, who do we have going on here? There we go, Carla Jane, hello there. Hopefully you can see and hear me. So if you can, just give me like a thumbs up or something in the comments. It's a different format. There we go. Yay, Shannon and Retrograde can see and hear. Notice what I'm doing, you guys. Not to show off or anything. I am expanding my skill set and my nervous system capacity. I've expanded the bubble of my nervous system for two things. One is to say, oh, I can do a live on YouTube from my phone. It's just that the comments are a little bit smaller down there, but I can still watch them. And frankly, I getting more comfortable with, even though I've been working out and losing weight, that it's okay to show my arms on the internet. I'm expanding my nervous system capacity. I hope you are too. So yay, good stuff. There we go. Hey, yay, Samantha Wixon is saying, still enjoying unsubscribing per your suggestion the other day. I am telling you, friend, it is a game changer. It is such a delight to just not get that. I see my husband's, because I sent him an email about a business expense, and oh my God, he gets so many marketing emails. I like a nice, I'm all about quality, right? And so, yes, what do I want to say? Unsubscribing from your email mailing lists can make a great difference. It doesn't seem like it at the time, but seriously too, your paper mail, my husband, I can just hear him right out there right now. He's checked the mail. We get such little, what do you call it? Snail mail. And here, let me ask. Hey, Babu, did we get mail?
No, I just got the UPS, but not mail yet.
Oh, okay, cool. We get very little junk mail. And even we do, it takes 2 seconds. Some things you can't unsubscribe for. But man, and wow, has it made a difference when I invested some time, about a year ago at this point, to unsubscribe my mother from a lot of these mailing lists that she was on. It has decreased the amount of physical mail that she's gotten into our house, which gives her great peace of mind too. So yay, Samantha. I'm glad that helped, and notice it can feel good. It may not feel good right away, but you'll notice the change. So good stuff. Oh, we got a bunch of people here. We've got 24 people. So yay for all y'all who, as Carla would say, who changed the channel and followed me over from TikTok to YouTube. If you're just scrolling by on your YouTube and I just showed up, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Destination Decluttered, all one word. Put a .com on there. You've got my website, okay? I will be here keeping you company, and you'll keep me company for the next 55 minutes or so. I'm practicing using the calendar in my head. It is Friday, July 11th at noon Eastern time as I record this. And I am here to help you when you are here live. This is also being recorded for, and will be available to re-listen to in the July playlist of videos. And there are, I think at this point, over 760 videos. Do not let that overwhelm you. It's just a choice. You know, Clara, nice to see you. So here's something I want to suggest to you. See how this feels. Now, I want to get a little bit more. I'm going to play with this because we're going to be home for the next couple of weeks yet before we start traveling again. In August, I will share with you, August is looking slim pickings. I feel very European in the fact that we're taking a lot of time away from our house in August. But here's something I want to hit you with to just let you know how this feels. So I always recommend, one of the downs we talk about is to write things down. Please, please, there's pearls of wisdom I am giving to you for free all the time, but they will evaporate if you don't write them down. Your brain will forget them until, oh, that's right, that's something Beth said. Write down what I say that's helpful. And here's a way to think about it. Even right now, pretend we're in a live class, right? Don't even worry about writing down stuff now if it's difficult for you to do so. If you're in that mode, if you're sitting somewhere where you can write things down, go to town. However, I think that the better place to write stuff down is when you have the time and space to just listen to one of these recordings, and you can stop it, you can slow it down, you can rewind it, you can put the closed captioning on. So how about this? How about this? Think of this, write down, or at least remember about this date's YouTube Live, and then ask me all the decluttering questions that I've stored up that are going to help you, so that we can record the answers to your questions, and then you can write them down now, or when you re-listen to this recording at your convenience and when you have the time and headspace, then there's directly something there that's going to help you. Okay? So that's the great thing about the live, is this interaction. It's not just me sitting here talking into a microphone. Honestly, I think that's why there's something about the live connection that makes it so much more fun and meaningful than if I was just creating a podcast and talking into a microphone and staring at my wall. I want to help you. You. Boop. Boop. So what could help you today? How can I help you today? Sorry. We were away for a few days. Boop. Exactly, Sarah. I feel a little bit bloaty myself, so I'm trying to rehydrate. I'm here to help you, and we're live. Where are you stuck declutter-wise? Is it at the beginning? Are you stuck in the middle? Are you on the surface? Are you with your stored clutter, sentimental? What room in your house? What's an item in your house that you're tense? You've got some tension. I don't want it, I want it. I don't want it, I want it. It's like a tug of war, and there's tension. Where's that? I used to have a piece of rope right here. That's around here. Anyway, but there's tension. Okay? What is there? What's one item in your house that's causing you tension declutter-wise? Because what you're going to notice is, when you think about that you have a story in your head. You have words in your head. A sentence or two in your head that describe, because you would need to use that to communicate with me, the item and why it's difficult to declutter. And notice that your words have a cascade effect. They give you a feeling. Now, Samantha is saying, how do I prioritize what to do first? Here's a great thing. Many times people will say, this is the best way to do something. I like to play with that. Best seems very superlative to me. Yeah, I just saw what you said, Carla. Very funny. What I would say, Samantha, and I mean this with all my heart, oftentimes it doesn't really matter truly where you start, as long as you learn how to start yourself. Now, a couple of things that could get you going to think about this is chunking things down. So we talk about, here's this, what to do first. I would say from your crown on down, scan your body. How is your body feeling? How are your gauges? How is your level? It's almost like getting into your car and looking at the dashboard. Do I have enough gas in my tank? Do I have too much in one tank and I need to go empty it, if you know what I mean? Do I need to clean off my glasses? Do I have a headache? How are you feeling physically? And then also calming down your nervous system. And when you calm down your nervous system by breathing down, by slowing down, by quieting down, by shoulders down, sitting down, bare feet down on the ground, it's gonna be revealed to you that certain things, it doesn't matter what you do, but some of them might. Chunking down is also, once you've quieted down your nervous system, writing down and chunking down are going to help you. So Samantha, if I was to ask you to create a list of just 3 things that seem like priorities, could you write those things down? What would be something that, decluttering wise, would make you feel better? Because this is really all about you getting in touch with what would make you feel better. I don't know what it is. You can chunk down your house a room at a time. You can chunk down a category of clutter. But listen to yourself and write down what yourself says. Yourself, your co-pilot. I would feel better if I emptied the dishwasher. I would feel better if I finally got rid of that stuff that I inherited from my mother-in-law that I've never liked anyway. You know? So notice, from the crown on down, that's my new thing. I think it's kind of sassy. Check in with your physical body. Because to me, if I feel physically uncomfortable, I can't do anything else. Quieting down, putting down the windows in case it's noisy outside. There we go. Okay, so Samantha says countertops, setting up a clothes rack, and hemming up pants. Wonderful. So Samantha, it looks like some of those things have a different amount of steps in them than other ones. So out of those first ones, what's the easiest one to get started with? Okay, I love it. McDoug's is getting their writing pad. Very cool. Now, I have an idea. Again, I have an idea from what you wrote down in the comments, but please write these down. Play along at home. And underneath countertops or setting up clothing rack, hemming up pants, each one of those, what's the easiest one to get started with? It's not wrong to start with the easiest thing. Sometimes setting up clothing rack. Okay, so here's a fun thing too. Now I know we're on YouTube and I bet she's on YouTube too, but I will tell you, I am so proud of Christy. I can't remember her last name. How long does it really take? I always feel like I should have some sunglasses in here to, do I have some sunglasses? That would be wicked funny. The next time I do a YouTube or a TikTok, I will get some sunglasses in here. But the woman who's like, how long does it really take? Okay, so about how long do you think it will take you to set up that clothing rack? 5 minutes, an hour and a half, 14 minutes, 17? Like, what do you think roughly? Write that down either in the comments or on your own Staples notebook. Okay, just write that down. Okay, see, Staples cheapo notebook. Okay. Now, see, I would have thought countertops myself because I don't know. Okay, 15 minutes. Okay, Samantha. I'm going to be doing this Destination Decluttered YouTube live for another 45 minutes. Is there anything right now that is stopping you from using 15 minutes of our time together to just set up that clothing rack right now? Is there anything, what's the word we would have used back in proofreading? Egregious. Is there anything truly out there that's stopping you from doing it right now? Or could you do it while we're all here kind of cheering you on and keeping you company as you set up this rack? Because sometimes there is, but sometimes there isn't. Okay, nope, gonna do it now. Okay, cool. You guys, just so you know, we're all cheering on Samantha as she's doing that clothing rack. It's 12:15 right now. Now, here's the thing with time. I do not like races. I do not like to rush myself through something or think that I have to hit a certain deadline. Okay? So I offer to you, you think your brain, which is not a particularly good measurer of time, both in hours or in calendars and clocks, your brain thinks it's going to take 15 minutes. So get started and do it. And then after you've done it at a pace that feels good for you, we could get curious and see how long it really took and just see if your estimate was right or not. Okay? Samantha too, and this is a bit like what happens during the decluttering parties, exactly what we're doing. People are cheering you on because we have community. And then the other thing too is I am here live with you. Again, this would not happen on a podcast. So if you get to a point where you're stuck or frustrated or you want to give up, get back here in the comments and share with us what's going on. Okay? I hope that was enough to get you started because, and this is me trying to use the comments right here. prioritizing what to do first, you prioritize this. So yeah, have some fun with it. Okay? Good stuff. Good stuff, my dear. All right, who else? Who else in the pod? I feel like I'm at, like at the circus or whatever. I've got my, okay, who else in the audience? Who can I help? Who's raising their hand to say, I need help, I'm stuck, because that's why I'm here. Honestly, the interaction is what makes these live the most fun. I get tired of hearing myself talk, blah, 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 blah. But if I'm interacting, then we've got some good stuff going on. Oh, this is so funny. Speaking of, we still don't have Wi-Fi, but we're getting there. Okay, there we go. So, categories. Name of a category. I will say chunking things down and categorizing has really helped us as we put things down. Okay, I love it. Carly Jane is headed to renew her driver's license. Gag, y'all have a great day. Okay, hon. I love this because Carly Jane is awesome. And there are some things that we dread doing. And the neat thing is when you calm down your nervous system and chunk down what you do, and you decide on your destination as someplace you want to get to, it even makes those things like having to renew your license not so painful, traumatic, dramatic as you might think it is. I was pleasantly surprised when my husband and I renewed our licenses. This was a couple of years ago yet. How easy it was to do it. There we go. Clara's emptying the paper shredder to shred some more. Yeah, anybody else want to join Carla? You can shred along with me, right? We could do that. Now, I'm so glad you said that, Carla, because I have a bag of paper that needs to be shredded, but I hate shredding. I do not like it. I used to like it, but I don't like the dust. I don't like how it gets jammed up, and I would rather spend my time doing something else. But I'm going to Staples later today or sometime within the next week. So I'm going to remind myself to bring my shredding to Staples, and it's going to cost me a little bit of money, but it will free up my time like nobody's business. So notice when I say that there are many ways that you can decide to declutter. None are wrong, none are right. It's just what makes sense to you and makes things easier for you. Now, if I didn't have a couple of $5, $10, $20, however much it's going to cost, if I didn't feel comfortable spending that money, if my nervous system was like, no, save that money and do it yourself, I would do it myself, Now, LO is asking, how do you feel about timelines and deadlines? Oh, I love this question. I will say this. I don't like the word deadline because it has dead in it. I love a timeline. I love them. I love to give myself like a due date, maybe like a library book. Okay, we'll call it a due date because that encourages me to do something. If I don't have a due date, like think about it. If you get a book out of the library, now this is something I'm very familiar with, getting books out of the library. They give you a due date. That says to you, you need to read this. If you want to read this book, you have from here to here to read it. That encourages me to take some of my time to read that book. If I buy the book and it doesn't have a due date, I may never, I could conceivably, it could take me a year to read a book. So I think giving yourself a timeline can feel good. Okay? I think it can encourage you to do something that you've said you wanted to do. Now, here's where I think that if you set an arbitrary deadline and do not consult with your nervous system, you could set yourself up for failure. Or not failure, because again, very dramatic word. You could set yourself up for disappointment. Okay? Mystery Chi-Chi, nice to see you. What do I mean by that? I mean this, okay? So if you do not consult with and work with your own nervous system, setting an arbitrary goal will probably be counterintuitive. Now, I know this for a stone cold fact with the way I'm wired, because when I started life coaching and I was getting coaching myself, there's a lot of business coaches that say, declare how much you're going to work and every day you're going to work towards that. Well, at a certain point, I was getting overwhelmed and it shut me down when I was like, oh shit, I'm not going to meet my goal. So I like to consult and I just start and move towards it. And I like to have it be, yes, I'm going towards a certain deadline and a timeline. A timeline is great though, because a timeline, if you think about it, is like little chunks that you can do towards that goal. Now, that goal, that destination, you put it out there, but I also like to have some flexibility. You know, to say if I don't get it done, there are certain things you do need to get done by a certain date or the window of opportunity closes. There are some things like that. But many things, if you set an arbitrary date, I want to get decluttered by I want to lose 40 pounds by September. Well, I'd like to, but is that going to happen? No, and that's just an example. Do I want to get my whole house decluttered before I go back, before the kids come back to school? Yeah, I want to, but does it make sense with the time and energy that I have? Does that work with the way that my nervous system works? Okay. Does that help, LO? Because everybody probably has their own ideas of timelines and deadlines. I love a timeline because you say, okay, I can do this next, I can do that next, and that gets you moving. A deadline, the looming deadline, can also kind of just have you reprioritize things. And again, I like the idea of a due date, but you can also renew. Sometimes you can renew that library book. But if you haven't done it, if you haven't started the book beforehand, ask yourself why you haven't. If you said you wanted to read the book and you did it enough to, wanted to do it enough that you put it on hold at the library and then you went and picked it up, then why haven't you read it? And I don't mean that in a judgy way. I mean it in like a Nancy Drew kind of way. Get curious. Get curious about why you haven't read that book. Oftentimes, reading is one of my favorite sports, okay? When I see myself not reading a book, two things. One is that I don't have the time or frankly the energy. I know it sounds crazy, but I can easily fall asleep reading a book. At night, I can easily scroll and just let things happen to me. Then if I start reading, I'll just fall asleep. So if I don't have the time or the energy to read a book, that will affect if I do it or not. But sometimes you think you want to do something and then you get it and you're like, ah. Like I've purchased a couple of books. I have literally, I'm looking at one right now. And it's more of like a book that I'm like, I should probably do that. It's like work. It's kind of fun, but it's not really. It's like, so notice how you feel about certain things. Have I read in the times that I have not finished that one marketing book? Have I read multiple fiction books? Yes, because I like reading fiction books. Reading is one of the things I love spending my time on. So notice how your destination and the journey is. Yes, destination, getting the book done, but is it going to be an enjoyable journey? And I have gotten much better at, frankly, returning books that I just haven't, or I've started and I'm like, nah, not so much. Purchasing books. I have a book to pick up at the bookstore down the street, purchasing books and then being like, yeah, you know what? This isn't doing it for me. I don't even want to have this in my library. And then the great news is that where I live, we've got, what do you call them? The little free libraries that you can donate books to. So it makes it very easy. I finished a book last night, the day before, and then today I had an excuse to walk somewhere, got me out of the house to donate this book and to check the little free library. And it's kind of fun to see if there's any books that I'm interested in reading. Now, Jazzy Girl is asking, did I miss much? Yes, no, I don't know. But what would you like? What would help you today, Jazzy Girl? What would you like to do? And I'm just quickly looking over here to see if we have Wi-Fi is coming back. Not yet, but that's fine. We're here on a Friday, and yeah. And what would you, okay, everybody. Many people say, I can't declutter during the week because I work, but on the weekends, that's when I have more time. So do you have any declutter plans for Saturday and Sunday? Saturday or Sunday? Do you have any plans? If you do, I can help you make a better plan. Okay? Now to get back to that, because I see Jazzy Girl put something in the comments and I want to make sure I read that. LO says, sometimes setting the aspiration. See, I like that. Inspiration and aspiring. helps to see if it really is something you want to read. Yeah. Yeah. And if it isn't, that's okay. Okie teacher was on the TikTok live and she was beating herself up for a mistake. No, you thought you wanted to do something and you tried it and it's not working out. Don't beat yourself up. I used to force myself to read books. I wouldn't give up if I wasn't really enjoying it. Nowadays, life is too short to read a book that you're not engaged with. Okay? Now, Jazzy Girl is saying where to start on my piles of paper. Okay. So where to start with anybody? I'm always going to say from the crown on down, check with your body, check with your nervous system, and calm down and feel better about both of them. Because that's before. I always want to remind you that those 2 steps will help you do better at these next 2 down steps, which are writing it down and chunking it down. And when you are writing down and chunking down, I want you to think of categories. So Jazzy Girl, my piles of paper is a very general category. But under my piles of paper, what are 3 categories that are in your paper? Now, I would highly recommend for you to play along at home, do the both. Write them down in your little 50-cent notebook, and then share them with me by writing them down in the comments. Practice giving your brain exercises to practice this concept of chunking things down into more specific categories. Now, piles of paper in my house, because we just came home, I have bills I need to schedule. We have bills we've paid that we need to be filed. And what else? There was something else. Oh, like there's a piece of paper that my husband needs to schedule a medical thing. So there's a couple of things. Other ones could be, yeah. Okay, you have your budget, you have your journaling, and you have shopping lists. Okay, I love that. So if you have your piles of paper, are each one of those, do you have a pile for each? Now notice there's a difference between journaling and shopping lists. There's a little bit of like if we were in the, as I like to call it, like the decluttering swimming pool, okay? Shopping list is you getting very specific about things that you need to get outside of the house, and you write them down because writing them down makes it easier to remember and to get those things when you're out there. Man, it takes me so much more energy to go to the grocery store without a list than it does. Okay, so it's all piled on one top of another. So Jazzy Girl, you just tuned in, but one of the things you did miss, and I'm going back, so Samantha Wixon said she didn't know what to prioritize and how to get things going. Samantha right now is assembling a clothing rack, just where I'll keep in her company. So let me ask you this. With those 3 categories, because 3 is a magic number, yes it is. Those 3 categories, could you, while we're all hanging out right now, could you take some time during this TikTok or this YouTube live, because I'll be here for another half hour, I can keep you company. Could you start to, instead of having that one big cluttered pile, could you start to chunk down your paperwork into those categories while we're here, so you're not just doing it alone? Now, this is kind of like what happens on the decluttering parties. I will start doing it right now. Awesome. One of the things I want to offer to you too, much I did Samantha, and this is what happens during the declutter parties. In real time, you start to take action with decluttering. You're not just sitting back and saying, oh, this is great theory. I love what you're doing here. And then you're like alone and you're like, I don't know what to do. So you give yourself a task. And then the neat thing is there's somebody there encouraging you, 100% belief. I know you can do this. But if you get stuck, you have somebody to ask, to be like, I'm stuck and I don't know what to do next. And boom, I'm here for you. Okay? So yay, you guys, Jazzy Girl is going to do her paperwork. Anybody else want to do this? Yep. And this is great because Samantha just chimed in saying, I'm getting to see why the decluttering parties work. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons I started doing them. Frankly, it was a suggestion of somebody on my mailing list to do something like this. And I love them because what it really does, honestly, it gets you out of your head and into action. In your head, it can all sound good, but man, is it different when you start to do it live. When you start to practice and your body is involved with it and your head is into it and you notice. Oftentimes when I say what are the stories about your stuff, if you just sit there, your backseat drivers or your stories are quiet. But as soon as you pick up that thing, man, does that trigger a story in your head that causes you to feel a feeling about a thing. You would not get to that story. You would not unlock the story of an item unless your body got into motion and started decluttering. And so embodying the life of a decluttered person, you are now, right now, everybody here who's moving around and decluttering, and even if you're not moving around, maybe the only thing that's moving is the gears in your head or your hand as you write things down. That's important, that you're thinking about things and writing things down and you're feeling differently about it than before the YouTube Live. That you are starting to be less of a cluttered person and you're shifting into thinking and acting more like a decluttered person because you are actually doing some decluttering. And that's the great thing about the action, the doing of the thing. You know you want to do it, but when you don't want it, when you don't do it, there's something going on in here. So let's clean that up a little bit. So your head says green check mark, your heart says green check mark, and your hands say green check mark, and then it feels easy to do it. Yeah. And a lot of times too, it's because we think we're the only people struggling with stuff. We think we're alone, that it's boring, that it's going to take forever. So we don't even start. We say, why bother? But I will say, there we go. Mama Koala says I can sort my clothes into piles as well. Short sleeve summer blouses, dresses for different weathers, and skirts. Too small, fits, and hope for the future. Yeah. I will tell you, when you start to see your items as part of these categories, that it will help you chunk down some things. And then you can more easily get started with a specific chunk of stuff than when you try to do a one-off of problem solving. Batching many things you do is a more efficient way of doing things, because there's going to be some things that are like in like the, as I would say, the no duh department. You know, like for example, I have 2 tiny closets in this house, right there and right there. In the cold weather, or this is typically my active closet. So in the cold weather, all of my cold weather clothes that I hang up are in there. At a certain time though, it doesn't make sense to have my cold weather clothes in there because it's warm weather. So then I flip-flop and I put my cold weather clothes in that closet. Now, my cold weather clothes is a category, you know? And so it makes sense that it's like, I don't want to wear a woolly sweater or a quilted skirt or anything like that when it's like 98 degrees out. So the season makes it very easy for me to say, I just want to put all those clothes somewhere else. I want to make it easy for me to then find my sundresses and my caftans and my fun vacation clothes. I want to make it easy for me to find them, easy for me to wear them, and have an easy place for me to put them away. So notice how categories can just increase the quality of life you're living for the next many months until it comes time to be, you know, sweater weather. All right, it's sweater weather. And notice this too. There's a nice ripple effect. So Jazzy Girl was starting with the paper, but she's also cleaning off her table as she goes. Maybe because there are things on the table that don't really belong there. Now, I will say this from a, what's the word I want to use? I want to use the word consultant. An efficiency consultant point of view. Efficiency means that you have more energy to do other things you want. Do not waste your energy by going from one room to the next, to the next, to the next. If you come across more than one item that belongs in another room, start to categorize things that are in your kitchen, for example, and then start to make a pile or put it in a basket or put things that belong in other specific rooms into different piles, so that you can take one trip to that room as opposed to 14 trips. One trip with 14 items will leave you with more energy to play around with than 14 individual trips, you know? No, I love it. Kim K says my favorite time of year is sweater weather. Sweater weather. No, I don't like sweater weather. I am much more of a beachy type person. It's so funny. You see me, and even right now I'm wearing a black t-shirt. I am all black and gray all the time in the winter. But man, I have some really fun, actually, I have some really fun like tropical prints in the summer. I like that. Yeah. There we go. And Jazzy Girl says, I'm not leaving the room, just putting stuff away in the same room. Awesome. Yeah. And even if you did leave the room, this is why I want you to have a plan and some structure of a plan, but with some flexibility. There's no truly right way or truly wrong way or the best way to do something. It's more about starting and making a difference. And then when you stop, feeling okay about what you did, so the next time you want to get started again, it's not a big deal. You don't have such a hurdle to start up with because you've done it before and you say, oh, that wasn't that bad. That didn't take that long. That was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Our thoughts are often, pretty much our thoughts and our feelings are the things that keep us stuck, you know? Okay, now that's interesting. Samantha says, oh my God, they sent me the wrong size screw. Gonna go to the hardware and just buy the right one size, but it's gonna get done. Okay, that's really curious. That's really curious that they would send you the wrong size screw. Now, I'm not saying that they wouldn't. I would let them know that at some point. That's just me though. But notice, Samantha is closer to destination getting her clothing rack done than she was before she started, because now she knows that one of the steps is, alas, having to go to the hardware store. Okay, now she Samantha, what I would want to offer to you is you have done some good stuff right now. And notice the frustration when things aren't as easy as you thought, but you are closer to getting it done than you were when you started. Writing down on your shopping list, go to the hardware store and get the things. And so maybe right now, that's as far as you can go with driving towards destination clothing rack. But you had a couple of other things, and it's so funny because going through the comments here, you had countertops, setting up clothing rack, and hemming up pants. Now, are you going to hem your pants yourself, or are you going to have somebody else hem them for you? I am bad with a needle and thread. That's why it was so great when I grew up in the punk rock era, because I was all about putting things together with safety pins. Are you going to hem your pants, or are you going to have somebody else do them? Just curious. Judy Dukes is saying, I'm driving 2 hours to help a friend pack up to move into a house. Do you recommend that I have her go through things before I pack them up? It depends on the person. It depends on how you know. What you might want to say to her, Judy Dukes, is you might say, hey, I've been listening to this decluttering life coach, and she thinks of things as like surface stored, sentimental, or categories. Maybe before I get there, you can start thinking of certain categories. Okay. Okay, so great. So Samantha, you're doing it yourself and you've been sewing since you were 10. Okay, so now notice what you're doing. You also have another destination of destination hemmed pants. Okay, and could you do them? Could you start with those hemmed pants now? I'm still going to be here for another 20 minutes. You know, notice that we have many destinations. You can stop one and you can start on the other. Would you like to hem the pants now as we keep you company? Or would you rather work on, I think it was your countertops? It's up to you. Now, one of the things I will say though, and this is another thing that comes in with the decluttering parties, and if Leslie were here, I think she is, there are things that are easy for you to do, easier for you to do than others. I bet you could hem those pants, no big deal, right? Because you said you've been sewing since you're 10, to you, that's no big deal. But I'm going to be here with you for another 20 minutes. I'm the expert at the decluttering. So I will just offer to you and to anybody who is doing the decluttering parties or thinking about it, what's something that you know you're not so good at that you could actually be there and have a professional, an expert at your beck and call to help you with that. All right? So Just suggesting, you get to decide what you want, but if you're going to get stuck on the counter, I can be here to help you when you get stuck. Now, this is really funny because, again, we all have our own skills. We all have our own stories and resources. Um, uh, Jazzy Girl is saying, that's funny you say that. I was just thinking of taking a pair of pants in to get hemmed instead of doing it myself. I lost some weight. Yay! I'm psyched about it. And I got a top that I like taken in, and I will go over to the seamstress across the way to get it because I know if I left it up to myself, I would not get it done. But if I pay somebody, it's going to happen. Yeah. Now, this is interesting. Kathy says, Samantha is smart. I have a clothing rep and I do not think I could put it together. Notice your thought is stopping you from even trying, Kathy. Yeah. Okay. So notice you have a thought. I don't think I could put it together. You could try. They come with instructions, or you could have some help with it. Somebody else, is there somebody else you can get help with? I'm asking my husband because he's a lot more patient and he likes to do those types of things. Me, not so much. Okay. Now Anna is saying, there we go. Okay. Now Samantha, I will offer to you. I'm searching through buckets of screws now. Maybe I have the right size. This would be a perfect time for you. And I say this as an example to everybody. It's around here somewhere is like my family's motto. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Set a timer for 5 minutes and allow yourself the 5 minutes to dig through the buckets of screws, because that's why we have buckets of screws, is in case we need one day. So good for you for looking for that, but set yourself a timer for like 5 minutes to see if you have them. If you do, yay! But past 5 minutes, it may be a better use of your time and energy to stop going through the screws and then just go and know which better screws to buy at the hardware store when you go out, and add that to your shopping list. Okay. Again, from an efficiency point of view, and efficiency for me is to help you have more energy and less frustration to do the things you want to do. Okay. Now, Judy is saying, and I saw Anna, I saw your comment too. I want to get to that, but Judy is following up about helping her friend. I know she's the type that doesn't like to take things to get rid of them. So maybe I will offer to do that for her so she will go through them. Yes. Notice where people struggle. Be there with them, with the part that they struggle with. If they think it's a big effing deal to go donate the stuff, great. They make the decisions, because really only your friend can make the decisions of what she keeps and what she wants. You can do the grunt work. You can do the physical work to make it easier for her to make the donations. Fill up your car with her donations. That sounds like a great idea. Now, Anna says, what do you recommend about decluttering things that hold sentiment but get in the way? My husband has too many mugs that hold value for him. Now, here's something I want to offer, Anna, because I have a husband and he has mugs and I have mugs and we have mugs. Too many. So that's a very ambiguous number. Too many for you. You think that he has too many. You're kind of being judgy about his stuff. And I say this because I do the same thing. I bet there is a good general number of mugs that fit on your mug shelves so that you can determine what's a good amount of mugs, both yours and his, for that shelf. Then I would notice that, yes, sentimental objects, I'm a sentimental person and so is my husband. There are mugs that transcend their mugness, like I'm using this mug I had to keep my stuff in it. I don't drink out of it, but it tells me a story. So I bet you and your husband could at least both kind of come to a certain degree to say about 15 to 20 mugs fit on this one shelf. Out of this, if we can only have 15 mugs on this shelf to make it easy to get, easy to use, and easy to put away when they're clean, how many are yours and how many are his? Notice you can get in the habit of buying mugs as a souvenir. But there are certain ones that you use more often than others. There are certain ones that just feel good in your hand, that you like the story behind it, that it's, there are certain mugs we tend to use 20% of our stuff 80% of the time. Now, my idea of a good mug is different from my husband's mug, so we definitely know which ones are mine and which ones are his, but there's room for both on the shelf. Okay? So, what I offer is before you start to judge your husband's mugs, play along with this. Look at the ones that you like. Look at the ones that you want to keep and which are the ones that you're willing to let go of. Walk through that process before you ever expect anybody else to walk through that process yourself. Okay? Because when you do it yourself, you will have embodied that thought and feeling process of this is what it's like to declutter. We can point to people and say, it's easy for us to see your stuff as crap and just do it. Just do it is not very helpful. The doing of it takes a lot of steps sometimes in your head and in your heart. People say, just get rid of what you don't use, but there's a reason why you have it and you're not using it. That's why we slow down the process to help you through the murkiness. Okay? Clara's shredder got stuck, but the pile is less than before. Right. So Clara, I will just offer to you, the way I do this is I put all of the stuff that I want to shred in like I almost call it a Roach Brothers bag because that's the grocery store I grew up with, but like a paper shopping bag. And then I don't even bother using my time to shred it. You might find a place that you could spend a couple of bucks and do that and not have the frustration of it being stuck. Notice where frustration can get you to abandon a project, the frustration of not being sent the right screws. Samantha says, the diagram was wrong. They showed clong screws, but no, it's the shorter ones that got wrong. Right. So you could be frustrated about that. Or you can calm down your nervous system and say, I can do something different here. Okay? Now, I love this because Jazzy Girl kind of showed up, quote, late, because she said, what do I miss? But she is almost done going through her piles of paper. Yeah. So how does it feel to being almost done going through your piles of paper? And notice the only way you ever get to being almost done is by starting. Don't make it a big deal to start. Sneak up on yourself. I'm just going to try this. I'm going to try it. And that's when the timer can come in handy. Just going to try. I'm just going to give this another 5 minutes and see what it's like. When you start to get frustrated, just you know what? Don't allow your frustration. Yes, and Stephanie, totally. Staples will shred your papers by the pound. That's where I'm going with my grocery bag full of papers that are getting shredded because I do not want the aggravation of doing it myself. I can get easily aggravated. I believe it runs in my family. So I've found other ways to get stuff done that do not activate my nervous system like frustrating things do. Okay? There we go, Jazzy Girl. Now, this is a wonderful thing because this was only 20 minutes ago, thereabouts. Jazzy Girl showed up in the comments and said, hey, what do I miss? Oh, I'm starting with my big pile of paper. A couple of things, chunked it down, is working through it in real time. And now I asked how it feels. She says, it feels amazing. I felt stuck. Notice the past tense. I felt stuck, but now, in the present, I'm almost done and feeling great. So in 20 minutes, Jazzy Girl has gone from feeling stuck, felt stuck, to feeling great in a matter of 20 minutes. You can do it too. And who doesn't want to feel great? Everybody wants to feel better. Everybody wants to feel better. Even people who feel good want to continue feeling good. And yeah, Jazzy, Kathy G is giving you a high five. Way to go, as am I. And we still have another 10 minutes. Again, talking about setting a timer. This is a timer. It's 12:50 Eastern time. We've got 10 minutes. What is something you have been kind of dragging your feet on that you could at least get started in the next 10 minutes? What if you could do it for 5 minutes? You could start something and just get started. Break the spell of not doing it. Put your hand on the item. It's just an item. Start to move stuff around. It's not encased in amber. You know, you can take that one, because this is what she did. She had one pile of paper that was all kind of different things, and then she like items together. She categorized by categories that her brain offered up because her brain, herself, knew how to chunk things down. You are practicing. You are giving your brain an opportunity to create a new way of thinking, a new neural pathway, as they would call it in the life coaching biz, to think about your clutter differently, to think about the process of decluttering differently, and to then feel different about it, because you know right now you have a story of how it felt to feel stuck and then feel great by starting to do it. You know? There we go, going to shred papers I don't need now. Now again, learn from us. You can choose to do the shredding yourself. You can choose to take them somewhere and get shredded. The choice is yours. Make a choice that feels good. If you were like the scales of justice, on the one hand, I could shred it myself. On the other hand, I could pay to get it shredded. Which one feels better to me and my current situation? Which one feels easier? I'm all about ease, okay? Which one feels easier on whatever levels, okay? And yes, notice the papers you don't need and shred. And everybody who's shredding paper right now, ask yourself, notice the papers you're shredding and remember that when you go to save them again. Okay, cool. You've got the shredder, going to do it yourself. Perfect. But notice the things you're shredding so that the next time your brain offers, I should save this, you may be able to say, hey, yeah, but you know what? We used to do that, but now I'm just shredding these things. Or I don't even print it out. Or I say, thank you, but no, I don't need a paper copy because you emailed it to me. Or you go paperless with some of your statements that come in the mail. Notice what you are saying now that I don't need anymore, that I don't need to keep. What category is it? And then change your process moving forward so you don't have to do this again, at least to the quantity that you may be doing it now. Now, I will share with you, I have a giant thing of stuff that's getting shredded. It's not even my paperwork. It's not. It's paperwork that I collected up from my mother's house, and I, in the comfort of my own home, in the quiet of my own home, was able to categorize it and see what needed to be saved for her documentation and what could be let go of. Okay, there we go. And Kathy says, I'm at the office. I cleaned out the shared office drawer and hooray, I found needed yellow markers. Yay. I think I stole these from, actually, I know this one came from my job 10 years ago. It's still working. Notice when you declutter, you will find things that you thought were lost. You can find things. It's like a treasure hunt. Don't look at it as I got to declutter. Look at the treasure you found. You found a treasure. Because I still haven't found what I'm looking for. But you found it because you decluttered, right? Hey, Bono, I can help you. Just declutter that drawer, right? I found what I was looking for is a much shorter song. So decluttering can be fun. Decluttering now makes it easy for you to highlight things with yellow markers. Decluttering makes you know now what's in that shared drawer, so the next time you're looking for something, you can be like, aha, I remember they are in that shredded drawer. A lot of decluttering is really just because you don't know what you have, is finding out what you already have and deciding if you're going to keep it, and then if you decide to keep it, where's it going to live? That's pretty much the three, that's like the 1-2 cha-cha-cha of decluttering. What is this? Do I want it? If I want it, what's an easy place for it to go so I know it's there and it's easy to use? You lather, rinse, repeat that thing, and man, your house is going to be decluttered easy peasy. Now, some things are easier to declutter than others. You start with the surface clutter. Then you go to the stored clutter, and as you build your decluttering muscles and get stronger, it makes decluttering the sentimental stuff even easier. If you grow, it's just like weightlifting. Start with the small stuff. Repeat on the low weights. Get stronger. Upgrade your weights. Get stronger. Then the next time you show up, it's not going to be as big a deal as it might seem now to declutter a sentimental item. Okay? And have a plan, but have some flexibility. Okay? I think I just spit on my phone. I was like, what's that? Okay? Have a plan, but have some flexibility. Look forward to it, and how can you make the journey fun, like a road trip? If it's not feeling like a road trip, are you really excited to get to your destination? If you're not excited to get to your destination, go back to the drawing board and say, why am I going there to begin with? What's in it for me? Notice you can feel great going through that thing of paper. You can have a clothing rack to hang your clothing. Why am I doing this? Because it's going to improve my life somehow. Ask yourself why I'm doing it and what's the improvement this is going to get with your life. And if it's not improving your life, ask yourself why you're doing it. And then listen for the answer. It's really interesting. It really is. And then write down your answer. Yep. Anna says, do you recommend listening to the radio or podcasts when decluttering? It depends on you. What I would say, Anna, honestly, is just off the top of my head, and this isn't kind of being self-serving, but I have over 760 podcast episodes, as it were, here on my Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. Pop one of those in, and you can hear somebody helping somebody else through their decluttering. That may be a way to help you learn about decluttering as you're doing it. Now, if it was me, I like quiet when I declutter because I want to tune into the thoughts in my head that are going to be the things that say, do I want this or not? With surface clutter, usually if I'm on autopilot, I can listen to stuff, no big deal. But when I'm deciding, and decluttering is decision making, I like some quiet. Okay, but pop on one of the recordings of my TikTok lives and YouTube lives. See if that helps you kind of get started. It's going to be a lot of what I said today, but always in a different way because it's different people, but it's always the same process. Okay. Kelly Smith says, I love listening to audiobooks and podcasts, and Beth, it makes the job easier. Whatever makes it easier for you, do it. Some people my husband likes music on, I like quiet. So set the environment to make it easy for you. Now, I love this. Samantha says she's got part of the rack is done. Yay. Think of how you were even before we started this thing. You hadn't even started that rack. You now know the next step to get to destination rack done. I will offer because we only have a couple minutes now. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Lisa, I'm trying to get through medical paperwork. It's a reminder, past tense. It's a souvenir of the illnesses and doctors that I've been through. Some of it is needed, but otherwise I'm going to trash it all. Yeah. Notice we save. I tend to oversave physical, medical documents too, kind of just in case. But then when you go through them, you realize, when's the last time I ever looked back on this? Some of it I'm glad I kept. Others of it, then I can shove away. All right. So a couple of things, because we've only got about a minute left, and I actually need to go pee and eat and shower and do all those things from the crown on down, because I've been doing this for about 3 hours now. There's going to be no TikTok lives or YouTube lives this weekend. We're away. Monday, and actually let me turn here. There's a decluttering party. So I offer this, that it's going to be at 9 a.m. Eastern. Please, I assume everybody here is on the mailing list group, part of the mailing list group, but if you're not part of the mailing list group and you want to be part of the mailing list group, wicked easy. DestinationDecluttered.com is my website. Scroll down to the bottom. You want to jumpstart, join the group, add your email address, boom, you're in. When you're in, you get the schedule to these TikTok lives and YouTube lives. You get access to the decluttering parties, free habit tracker, all sorts of good stuff on one wonderful little hidden page that nobody else gets access to except for the email group. Okay, DestinationDecluttered.com, doing that. Monday, July 14th, this coming Monday, 9 a.m. Eastern is our next decluttering party. So for example, Samantha, if between now and Monday you don't get that, maybe you get the screws, but you haven't done your thing, tune in, sign up for a party. 100% of the proceeds from the party are going to a women's homeless shelter. So you can feel good about your declutter thing. We also have a TikTok live and a YouTube live that day and all next week too. All right. So there are resources available to you so you know when to tune in. Okay. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Lisa says, I went to the site. It says not safe. Interesting. It should be safe. DestinationDecluttered.com. It is safe. I mean, I don't want to lead you to down the primrose path or whatever, but it is safe. Maybe it's because I don't have you. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but you can email me. How about this, Lisa? Email me at destinationdecluttered.com. Let me know you want to be on the mailing list, and let me know what state you're from, because then I can add you manually to the thing. Okay? Does that make you feel better? Again, it's all about nervous system safety. Okay? So yeah, you can reach out to me and I could do that. All right? But I'm going to go now. Okay? I hope you all have a great weekend. I hope this was helpful. And interesting, Kelly Smith says if you go through TikTok, they always say that. So maybe it's the same thing with YouTube. I'm a safe resource. Okay? And this safe resource is now going to go shift gears. And I've enjoyed having fun with you. I hope you got some good stuff done. I will have a good weekend. I hope you do too. And yeah, if you want to show up for the decluttering party, 9 a.m. Eastern till about 10:30. And we're going to have fun and get some stuff done. Yay, Jazzy Girl is almost done shredding. Good stuff, people. All right, I'm tuning up. Are you sure you want to stop? I do. See ya.